America is the wealthiest and strongest country in the world. The country's GDP is projected to soar from 28.18 trillion US dollars in 2023 to a staggering 41.65 trillion US dollars in 2034. In 2023, an astounding 13.3% of the federal budget was allocated to defense spending, supporting a formidable force of nearly 1.3 million active duty troops. The U.S. reigns supreme in national defense expenditure, surpassing all other nations, as the U.S. Congress has greenlighted a jaw-dropping defense budget of $886 billion for 2024. But what if the USA vanished overnight? The implications would be nothing short of cataclysmic, reshaping the world as we know it and fundamentally altering our modern way of life. First, let's start with geography. Canada and Mexico would suddenly wake up to a massive ocean between them. The term contiguous United States refers explicitly to the lower 48 states and the District of Columbia, commonly known as Washington, D.C. This geographic area constitutes the majority of the land area of the United States, amounting to approximately 84% of the country's total area. The contiguous U.S. spans a land area of 3.1 million square miles, around 8 million square kilometers, effectively adding a new ocean to the planet. Geography and the economy are closely interconnected, and the absence of the United States would have a profound impact on global trade. As one of the world's major importers and exporters, the sudden halt of American trade would disrupt supply chains, resulting in global shortages and surpluses of goods. This would create significant economic difficulties for countries heavily dependent on American imports and exports. For instance, in 2023, the total value of international U.S. imports of goods and services alone amounted to 3.83 trillion US dollars. Global trade dipped 3% to $31 trillion in 2023 after peaking in 2022. The downturn was driven by less demand in developed economies and weaker trade in East Asia and Latin America. These were the consequences of post-pandemic recovery. Now only imagine what would happen if 15% of the global GDP evaporated. Oil is crucial for the world's economy. The United States has dominated global oil production for 6 consecutive years, shattering its own records with an astonishing average output of 12.9 million barrels per day, BPD, as revealed by the Energy Information Administration, EIA, in a recent announcement. In December, U.S. crude oil production surged to an unprecedented monthly high of over 13.3 million BPD, leaving everyone in awe. The United States exported approximately 10 million barrels of petroleum daily in 2023, including distillate fuel oil, residual fuel oil, and ethanol blended into motor gasoline. What about the global financial system? The U.S. hosts some of the world's most significant financial markets, such as the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, and NASDAQ. If these markets were to close abruptly, it would likely trigger unparalleled instability and the possibility of global financial market crashes. In addition to the financial sector, the agricultural industry in the USA is also noteworthy. In 2020, the country exported a substantial 147.9 billion US dollars worth of agricultural products. In this case, we should expect the emergence of other countries as the leading economies. Countries like China, the European Union, and Russia will quickly fill the vacuum created by the disappearance of the U.S. Moreover, the American dollar holds the status of the world's primary reserve currency, and its hypothetical disappearance would trigger chaos in global currency markets. This could result in a swift transition to alternative currencies, such as the euro, yen, or yuan. The potential implications of such a shift include hyperinflation or deflation in various economies, which would significantly impact international trade and financial stability. Meera Chandan, co-head of the Global FX Strategy Research Team at JP Morgan, mentioned that China has been making efforts to internationalize the renminbi in order to compete with other global currencies. Despite consistent growth, the renminbi's global presence remains relatively small, and achieving significant internationalization will be a complex and lengthy process, requiring substantial reforms. For example, data shows that the renminbi accounts for just 2.3% of SWIFT payments, in contrast to the US dollar's share of 43% and the euro's share of 32%. Given China's increasing prominence in international trade, many observers anticipate that the renminbi will eventually play a more substantial role in the global economy. However, without the US, China would promote its currency much faster. The future is uncertain, as the entire geopolitical landscape is on the brink of a massive transformation. With the United States being a crucial superpower and a stabilizing force in many regions, any shift in its role could create dangerous power vacuums. This may ignite intense regional conflicts as nations and factions scramble for control. International military alliances like NATO could crumble without strong American leadership and military backing. In the wake of this upheaval, countries such as China and Russia may aggressively pursue expanding their influence, leading to the emergence of new spheres of control and a dramatic shift in global power dynamics. In 2022, Russia waged a full-scale war against Ukraine. For ordinary observers, nothing extraordinary has happened as, unfortunately, the history of humankind is full of wars. But what is really happening is Russia changing the international borders by annexing Ukrainian territories, which is entirely different from just a military occupation. In 2022, Putin said Russia has 4 new regions, calling the residents of Ukraine's occupied Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia regions our citizens forever. And the only obstacle to the continuous Russian expansion is the U.S. arms supply to Ukraine. Since the beginning of the war, the U.S. Congress has approved 5 bills to support Ukraine with ongoing aid, with the most recent approval in April 2024. The total budget authority allocated through these bills is $175 billion, a significant amount that has garnered attention from the news media. This substantial funding is benefiting various sectors in Ukraine, such as refugees, law enforcement, and independent radio broadcasters, although the majority of the aid is directed towards military support. Just imagine a world without America. How quickly would Russia cruise through Ukraine, endangering Poland and other European countries? Or how quickly would China seize Taiwan? Probably lightning fast, with no U.S. support to hold them back. And that's not all. We could be looking at a direct military showdown between Iran and Israel, fueled by Iran's backing of militant groups and relentless nuclear ambitions. And let's not forget the looming threat of a major security crisis in Northeast Asia, sparked by North Korea's aggressive nuclear weapons and long-range ballistic missile testing. It's a high-stakes game with global implications. If you think these are all the implications, think about the technology that we have today. Research and development, R&D, activities are fundamental to the progress of advanced economies, influencing various critical aspects such as economic growth, job creation, industrial competitiveness, national security, energy, agriculture, transportation, and public health. Consequently, there has been a significant surge in R&D investments from companies, governments, universities, nonprofit organizations, and other entities across the globe. From the year 2000 to 2020, total global R&D expenditures witnessed a remarkable increase, more than tripling from $675 billion to $2.4 trillion in current dollars. The United States significantly established itself as a leader in science and technology during the latter half of the 20th century. The rapid growth in both public and private R&D investments in the U.S. played a crucial role in propelling the country to a position of global economic prominence. In 1960, the United States accounted for approximately 69% of the world's R&D funding. However, by 2020, the U.S.'s share of global R&D expenditures had declined to approximately 31%. Thus, cutting a third of all investments in tech development would certainly slow the emergence of cutting-edge technology in many fields, like medicine, computer science, AI, and even rocket science. Let's not overlook the fact that the USA serves as a crucial center for technological innovation, housing Silicon Valley and a multitude of prominent tech companies and research institutions. The potential loss of this hub would significantly impede global technological progress and innovation. Both NASA and private American space companies such as SpaceX play vital roles in space exploration and the deployment of satellites. Without them, advancements in space exploration would be severely impeded, potentially affecting worldwide communication and navigation systems reliant on American satellites. Space exploration is mankind's future. Launching rockets into space is an incredibly expensive endeavor. It's been so costly that only government space agencies or affiliated companies have been able to send astronauts and satellites into orbit. In 2022, a total of 11 private companies sent 94 rockets into space, with American SpaceX leading the way by launching 61 rockets into orbit. The race to conquer space is escalating, and American private companies are at the forefront of this exciting frontier. In the end, it would be safe to say that the world without the US would have less economic potential, with autocracies taking over and igniting even more conflicts. However, the most important issue is that the world will lose the largest contributor to the human technological advancement and expansion beyond Earth. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and feel free to share your opinion on the topic in the comments section below.